All right, just a minute, folks. Okay, we got 4. That's cool. Let me go over to this one here. All right, very good. Life with Roscoe, Boxcar Jerry, Ray Bertelstein. I guess that's it, and I guess there's somebody else that hasn't commented. Now I'm down to 2. Okay. Well, let's see. We can go over to this view here. Can you hear me all right? And Dell Hudson. All right. Can you hear me? One, two, three. I guess somebody would let me know. So what I'm doing here, this is a Tyco Chattanooga engine. It's a tender drive, so the motor's in the tender. Okay, thanks, Dell. So the motor's in the tender, and it pushes them. I have a couple of these. A lot of these things are hard to get running. In other words, a lot of them have problems. So I had a couple of people ask me about them and how to fix them. So I figured I'd take this apart and we'll just see what's in here. And if anybody has any questions about repairing them, we'll go ahead and go through that. So like I said, the motor's in here, and what it does is it gets power from one side on the tender, which is this side, and then this side here will send power for the other side. So let's see, to get these out of here, there's tabs on the side there. And we just kind of pry that out. Like that. You just pry that out like that. There we go. So this must be a newer one. It has the newer type motor. Let me zoom that in just a little bit here. Sorry about that. There you go. So you can actually see what I'm doing. So that's like a gold colored motor or bronze color or something. So that's how you tell it's a newer one. So to take these apart, there are 2 E-clips on here. Like right here is an E-clip. And you got to be careful that they don't take off. So you get those out. And then there's the grunt. What happened to my document camera? Did I lose my document camera? Let me see if I can get my document camera plugged back in here. You gotta be kidding me. Just a minute. Okay. I don't know what happened there. So that microphone's muted and we are back to this one. Okay, very good. So yeah, we had two small clips on here right there. I'm sure we'll lose those. And then the ground wires here. I'll take those off. Okay. Take there. And then, let's see. We have to take the wheels out. So there's two screws on the bottom and there's a screw over here. So we'll take those out. And I think I have to take these wheels off to get this apart. Nope, that's how it's held in there. Okay. There we go. Let's see if this one will come out. All right, here we go. Unscrew this side to get it apart. That's why these things are the way they are. There we go. Oh yeah, so that's the wheel set for this side here. That screws in with the wheels, and then you should be able to get this one out. There you go. So then we get that out of there, and then we should have enough room to get the rest of this apart. Trying to do this to show you how it comes apart, and it's just kind of falling apart as I do it, but there we go. So that's that. And there's your motor. So let's see, what should I talk about first? These are the wheels, that the drive wheels, and there's little gears on here, and also the traction wheels, and that goes against the gears on here. And a lot of the times these wheels crack and they just kind of fall apart. So I actually have 2 or 3 of these motors that that don't run because I don't have wheels for them. And then the center one here, yeah, I can see that's already got a crack in it. So that's for the center one. So that one's not going to work. Well, actually what happens is the center one of them drive off the main gear, and then the center one connects the other gear. So if this isn't working, if the center one isn't working, then the other side of the gear isn't working. So we'll see what we could do. I might have one of these. I don't know. That's the center. Deep Run, how you doing? Welcome. So another problem with these is there's a pin right in here that holds this main gear on. And a lot of times that pin right in the middle will break. So what we want to do before we attempt to take this apart, put some oil in here. And we'll just kind of make a mess out of it just to make sure that we got enough oil in there. And the fact that it's spinning is encouraging, so we know that that gear is in fact free, and it should probably come out of there. So that should not be a problem. And then you kind of gently lift up on these here, because this part of the larger part of the gear is kind of like underneath the smaller gear there. So we'll pivot gear. That's what that's called, the pivot gear. There we go. So we got that out, and there's a ton of dirt and hair and junk in here. And here's these gears that come out. They're pretty easy to get them out. And you want to make sure that these aren't stuck on there also. There we go. So we got a bunch of stuff to clean out of here. Yikes. That's a lot of stuff to clean out of there. Paper towel. All right. Let's see if I can get you in just a little bit closer on this. All right, that's about as close as I can get that. All right, so we'll clean this up first, then we'll get to the motor on the other side. So yeah, as I put in the comments there, I paid a whole $1. I paid a whole $1 for this locomotive. And I've had a couple people ask me about these particular types of engines and how they work, and you know, are they repairable, and how do you get in there and repair them? So that's why I'm doing this. Man, that's a lot of gunk. Just kind of work that out of there as much as possible. Good thing is that what's in here isn't stuck. I don't really have to scrub that hard. It's just like a bunch of loose hair and stuff. And see, like in the corners of this right here, there's a little bit of dried grease or something in there. So we'll get that out of the way. Get around there really good. And here's a big old hairball. Maybe somebody had a cat, I don't know. All right. Pretty big hairball there. All right. So we're getting most of this out of here. We'll clean it with some alcohol in a minute. And the good thing is that this pivot gear right here, the center gear, that looks like that's all in good shape, and it's not stuck or anything. Sometimes that's a problem too. Get that in there. Get a brush. All right, we can go back to that with a little bit of alcohol. I'll tell you what, let me get that right now. Put alcohol in one of these little containers here. Put parts in, clean it, and give you something for my brush. There we go. Throw it on the locomotive. And I just kind of, you know, make a mess out of it. It's alcohol. It'll dry. Won't hurt anything if it's in there. So get excess off of here. There we go. And we'll get these little idle gears also. Trackside Mike, how you doing? We're just taking apart a Tyco locomotive. Like I said, a couple people asked me how to take these apart. So maybe if there's other types of locomotives. Somebody asked me about a Bachmann one time. So maybe I'll do that on Bachmann. So unlike, well, like I said, I'm trying to do this in a step-by-step and explain what I'm doing in case somebody has wanted to repair, and they can follow along or ask some questions or whatever instead of just going at it. So like I said, so you know what I'm doing as I do it. So we'll clean these little idle gears. Still a little bit of hair on that one. Good. Yeah, some of these, if they're too bad, I'll take the motor out and just wash it. Like put it in the sink with little bit of cleaner. You can either use like dish detergent. I use something called Awesome Orange from the dollar store, which is a pretty good degreaser. And sometimes I'll just take them over to the wash tub or the sink there and scrub them like that. There's a lot of junk on here. This looks like old grease that's on this gear here. There we go. I think we've got that pretty clean and successfully made a mess. It's all right. A little bit of alcohol on the mat. Clean things up. There we go. So, screw stuck to the magnet. So you've got two brushes on here. And the top one, you can see the wire that goes to the locomotive, which connects to this. And actually the other side, it will connect to these wheels here. And then the black wire is grounded, which also, would connect to the tender wheels that are on this side over here. I'm using a toothbrush, and this is alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So I think that's a pretty good choice. You don't have to get too crazy. I mean, like I said, if it's too bad and I need to take it to the sink, then I'll use that Awesome Orange. But for the most part, alcohol works. It depends on how bad it is. And let's see. There's another guy that swears by something called mineral spirits, which is essentially the same thing as alcohol. And that works fine. I don't recommend, I've seen people use like brake cleaner, gum out, stuff like that. You don't need to, and it's kind of, gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. Plus, it's not to do in the house. So here we are. We got two brushes, so they didn't get lost, and they look like they're in okay shape. We'll set them aside. They're just a little bit dirty. You can't see that, but they're just a little bit dirty. Did I check the motor for shorts? No, I didn't check anything before I started. I just took this out and started from scratch. Yeah, some people like to do that, like start on it and say, well, let's see what kind of shape it's in from the start. And I mean, unless it's something that I've fixed before and I just want to see what the problem is or try and get diagnostics on it or something. But generally, when I get a locomotive from a train show, I just assume that it's a mess inside, and I just take it apart and start and assume that it's got to be taken apart. So all right, yeah, it's just a little dirty. You can see we're getting something off of there. I'm going to clean that with the fiberglass brush. That guy there. Yeah, you know what? I'll show you how to do that in just a second. If it's something like, if you go through this whole procedure and it still doesn't run, then you got to go back in and check and see if it's the motor. Maybe you hook something up wrong. But generally, I don't bother. And looking at the condition of this one here, I don't expect it would be any problems. We'll get in between there. There we go. That looks pretty good. Sorry about my arm. Clean that again with some alcohol. On larger motors like Lionel's, you can put on the commutator here that CRC 226, and it's meant for electrical components. It's like a lubricant, and it also conducts electricity. On something like this, this small, I wouldn't bother with it. Don't really need to. Those brushes. Yo, yeah, the fiberglass brushes, they're awesome. So since you asked, and that's the purpose of this video here, is to answer questions and test things. So you want to test from one to the other and make sure that you got coils in it. So it's a coil of wire, so it is actually going to be shorted, and you want to make sure that you get the same amount, 0.0201. Let's say if we go down to 200 ohms. There you go. That's more accurate. 24 ohms, 25 ohms. And here, what do we get? 26, 25, 26. Okay, there you go. So accurate enough. And then if you want to check from the middle, and then they should be open. Make sure nothing's grounded on each of those. Like I said, I didn't expect that there would be any problems, so I didn't bother to do that. But if you're having a problem, it's always a good thing to do to go ahead and check it. So we'll set that aside. I did not remove this whole thing from the locomotive. In other words, there's two wires coming through here. You can do that. I didn't see the need for it. If we need to, we can unsolder it, or if somebody needs to know how that comes apart, we can do that. So again, let me clean this up, get the stuff out of there. So one part that we didn't look, there we go, they're still in there, good. Toothpick. This is a little bit messy. In here, there's two tiny little springs that stayed in there, thankfully. There's spring one. Well, you know what? We'll just put that right in the alcohol. Like that. There's another spring. So, yeah, these toothpicks are really handy in holding on to those springs, because once one of those springs takes off, then you lost it. So a little bit more alcohol. We'll clean this up. Yeah, brother. I got to get in there and get a little bit. So you can see, I don't know if you can see or not. It's kind of black around there. So like what was happening is those brushes wear. The little bits of carbon and stuff get in there in that little socket, or the little holder where the brushes go and the springs go. So we'll just continue to get as much of this alcohol, or as much of this carbon from around it. And then I got to get in there, see if I can get down inside those holes. Let's see here. Sometimes I take cotton swabs there and take part of it off. See if we can get in here. Oh, not going to quite fit. We'll see what we can get out of here. Take a little bit more of that off. There we go. I'm pretty satisfied. We'll do one more just to get that out of there. Yeah, it's looking pretty clean. All right, we'll do the same to the other end. In other words, we'll take a bunch of this extra fuzz off of here, make it a skinnier cotton swab. A little bit of alcohol. I have my little alcohol sitting here. My little alcohol thing is sitting right there. So that's what I'm doing here. Yeah, see, that's looking pretty clean now. All right. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. We're looking good here. You got to watch these wires here, depending on how old it is. Sometimes if you look real close, it might only be hanging on by like one piece of wire or one thread. But that looks pretty good. Like this is a newer version of this, so that's all right. We should be okay on that. So I'm not going to worry about that right this second. What I do want to do is clean these wheels. this. So I've probably seen a million times people clean these wheels, but we got to do it to get this to run. So we'll do this real quick here. Some people use Track Bright on there, and I think that's a good option. Use Track Bright because it's just like a giant eraser, and you just kind of rub it on there. I don't have a piece of Track Bright, but this works good. The only thing with using this scratch brush, these fiberglass brushes, is you get little pieces of fiberglass, and you don't want it to get into your fingers and such. So that's kind of the only disadvantage with using these fiberglass brushes. Where's the other set of wheels that I lost? There's a set of wheels, and I'm looking for another set of wheels that looks like that. All over there. Okay. I think there's a guy that uses little Dremel brushes or something, and that's okay. That'll work too. Again, I'm doing this for demonstration in case anybody needs to take one of these apart. So if you have any questions or you need me to take something apart to show you, that's what we're here for. A lot of times I watch a lot of repair videos, and sometimes guys, they take stuff apart or they're working on something. Like, well, what did you just do there? So, people take things apart and you're not sure what they took apart or what they did. So, get a little bit of that on there. All right. Well, we got 8 people. That's cool. Okay. So put that aside with motor. I'm going to clean the wheels on this part here. Again, see these wheels, let's see here. Now, sometimes these wheels have like a traction tire on them. I don't see that on here, but we'll clean that anyhow. Well, I'm going to clean it, and then I'll take this cover off and let you see what's in there. Let's leave that together for now. You guys spend like $30 on one of those cradles, and it's a piece of packing foam. That's what I use. So again, this part here isn't all that exciting. So these wheels on the engine itself isn't connected to the motor like mechanically. So as you can see, I can just kind of roll these along and clean this, and there's nothing holding it up because it's just the motor in the tender pushes it, and it's just kind of freewheels. So that makes it easier to clean for this part of it. We're getting a lot of gunk on there, and my brush is getting gunked up. Darth Santa Fe. Yeah, I've seen a couple of his. Yeah, he does all right. He does a good job. Yeah. I mean, I say anybody that's fixing them is, if I've seen a lot of people use different techniques and different things on a lot of them, and it's well, in the end, if it works, that's fine. Whatever chemicals you're using or brushes you're using, if that works for you. I guess when I was a kid and we didn't have these nice brushes and all the stuff that you can get now, we use a pencil eraser. So here we go. We're getting the gunk off. I'm gonna have to take this out because I could tell there's a bunch of dirt like down inside here. So we have to take that out and clean it anyhow. And I'm almost at the end of my scratch brush here. So I have to get a new scratch brush in a minute. And then make sure that the axles are making contact with the frame, because that's how it gets the power to the other side of the motor. Get that pretty clean. It's easier to flip this around here since I'm right-handed. Again, this side here, it's not conducting electricity, but still don't want all that stuff on your track. And you want it to roll smooth. I've had one or two of these, these Tycos, and it had like a brass colored coating on it. And as I was cleaning it, the wheels started to turn like silverish. It was just like scrubbing the surface off of it. It didn't affect how it ran, but it kind of looked, well, it looked like it was weathered. And let's see, almost at the end of my brush here. So I have to get another one of these. Well, you know what? I use these up. It's kind of funny, but kind of hard to hold on to. I can still use a little bit of this here. Why not, right? Why throw it out? You can still use a little bit of it. We use it until we can't use it, right? No sense in throwing it out. We should still use a little bit of it. Wow, it's just gunk. I don't know what that is. It's like dirt cake on there. Get it the best you can. Look at that. Some of these locomotives have two wheels in the front, the pilot wheels. This particular one does not. And I'll show you after a little bit. I forget how many different models that they made. This is the Chattanooga, and what the heck is the other one? The Royal Blue, and there's one called the Clementine. I have that. I have three different models. Like I said, I have about 4 of these out of the Chattanooga. Okay, I think we got those wheels pretty clean. See just a tiny bit of rust on these screws here. PK and W. You're competing with Steve at the Retirement Railroad on the regular Tuesday night stream. Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't know that anybody else was doing live streams. Apparently there's an On Tracks Tuesday or something that I was told about. I didn't know that, but I figured I'd do it on Tuesday because I didn't know anybody else that was doing a live stream on Tuesday. So, whatever. Well, thank you very much there, Bob. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you got 3 screws. Yeah, 3 screws that hold it in there. Steve built a paint rack. Well, what does that have to do with trains, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so I got to take What do you call these guys in the front here? That comes off there also. And this is the part that's fun when you try and put these back together. Set that aside and lose it. That's fine. Is it going to come out of there? No, that's attached. Does this come out of here? It's going to make a fool out of me. I know I've taken these apart before. I guess it's been a while. There we go. Take the whole thing apart. There we go. Now we made it. I will never get it back. Okay. If you can see, excuse me. I'm still getting over a cold here. Here's the red wire that goes back to the steam chest. Thank you very much, Mike. Steam chest. Okay. So get this wire out of here. And it's not. Okay. Well, we're going to be soldering because I just broke that contact off of the wire. And you know what? You can see, or I hope you can see, it's not really soldered on there. It's like they solder these things and they go on there and it's not really soldered on there tight, cold solder or whatever. So this probably will not run the way that it was anyhow. So let me get the screw out of here. And this little metal tab, because we're going to have to put that back together. And then, you know what? We can leave this together. If I can get this, there we go. Put that like that. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, yeah. I should probably take this over to the sink real quick because there's a lot of dirt in here and a lot in here, and I could scrub this, and it will eventually get clean, but the fastest way to do it is just a little bit of soap and water. So I'm going to get my brush, and I'm just going to spray this real quick, and I'll be right back in just a couple minutes, okay? All right, right back at you. And that's all that took. Because it wasn't like, you know, carbon or anything there. It was just a little bit of regular dust. And it's easier just to hit it with some awesome orange and rinse it. And it gets everything out of there really good. So we'll give this dry for the most part, and we'll let it sit for a minute or two. Yeah, it should be fine. On Lionel's or some of the bigger ones, what I'll do is take this out to the garage and hit it with the air hose, spray all the water out. But I think we're good on that. Yeah. So clean that up. feel like I keep going out of the frame here, so we'll get another couple Q-tips. Get that to dry. There we go. You want to get all the electrical contact points in here. There we go. Yeah, so if you use some more, if you use some warm water, then it should dry quicker. If you use a cotton swab in the handle of the fiberglass brush, would you be able to use it to hold the fiberglass again? Oh yeah, you mean to like stick like a piece of the Q-tip inside there so that would come out further or something? You know, I was messing with that, thinking, you know, well, maybe if I cut off part of this, is that what you mean? Just so you could use more of the fiberglass brush? Let's see, where are we? So we broke off the little contact that's on here. So I got to fire up a soldering iron. So let me get that. Okay. Yeah. All right, get a soldering iron going. Yeah. Somewhere around here, I do have one of these where I cut it off, you know, shorter, so then I don't waste much of the fiberglass brush. And I don't know what I did with it. I think I broke the whole brush. I don't know. All right, waiting for the soldering iron to heat up so we can get this wire soldered back on. And let's get this over here. And we want to clean that real good. Keep that in the camera. And you got these tiny little parts, you know, big hands to try and hold on to. There we go. Sorry, got my hand in the way. Get the other side, sure. Might as well get both sides. We need to use both sides just to make sure. Well, let's show you here. So we're only going to solder, you know, a wire onto the tab here, but then the larger side of this, you know, the screw goes through it. So you want to make sure you have a good connection to the chassis of the locomotive. We don't want that. But we'll clean it anyhow, because I have a theory that dust attracts dust, and same thing with tarnish. Tarnish attracts tarnish. So in other words, if one small part of something is tarnished, then it's easier for it to spread. So if there's no tarnish on it at all, then it's harder for it to spread. We're still waiting for the soldering iron to heat up to attach that little piece onto there. So in the meantime, we'll get some more of this dust out of here. The top of this is filthy. I'm not going to get too crazy with it, but we'll get some of that out of here. Let's see if that is going to let us take this apart now. Hold on a minute. I think this has to come off, yeah. Hold on there. Oh, there's cobwebs in there, man. Is that just gonna? Let me see if I get carefully without breaking it or losing it. Is that going to come out of there? That this metal rod here goes in there. Carefully. Okay. And then is there a screw on the top? No, there's no screw in the top. What I'm trying to do and show you in here, see, there you go. This here is a, there's a smoke unit in here. So what happens is the wheels go around, it pushes on this guy here and pushes the smoke out. So the smoke unit probably does not work, but I thought we would at least take a look at it. There we go. See a little tab in here. No, I don't want to break this. I mean, I don't really have to take this apart, but I figure since we're here, we can take a look inside, see what it looks like. Just trying to get that out of here. All right, same thing there. Oh boy. Do this carefully so we don't break it. There we go. It's just enough dirt in there to hold all that together. There we go. Sorry if my head was in the way. There we go. So there's the smoke unit. That should lift out of there. A lot of dirt in here holding this together. Let's see. I don't think that that's holding it in. That's a smoke filler. There's a little, it's a bell that goes on the top here. And you take that out to fill it up with smoke. So maybe that is holding this. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I've got like at least 3 of these Chattanoogas. Plus I have the Royal Blue, the other one, and none of them smoke. There we go. All right, there isn't a whole lot I can do. You know, there's a tiny little heating element down inside there. And then you can see it's wired to there and wired to the light bulb. There's the light bulb up there. So I have not been able to find replacement heating units or smoke units for these guys. So if they don't work, then they just don't work, and then that's that. So then the trick is to get this back in there. To get it in there with those wires. There we go. So, yep, like I said, there's no need to take that apart, but while we're here, we'll do that. Just back from a social visit to LA, saw my son. Oh, good, attending a masquerade ball with his wife's family. Not so good. Well, I mean, you dress up and then nobody knows who you are. All right, so we just took this whole thing apart just for no reason other than to see what was in there. And we'll put this back together. And hopefully we didn't break anything. There we go. That snapped right back in there. It's still in there. So we need to solder these wires onto that little tab. And this is going to be tricky. How am I going to hold on to that? Black here. So yes, you were saying that you were traveling, Bob. How long did it take you to get to LA? I think it's been a number of years since I did that, and I think it was 3 or 4 hours. So what I'm going to do, like I said, when we took the part, there was just the solder was not actually, in this little contact here, this tab. So we'll get just a little bit on there to make sure that the solder's bonded. Sure that the solder's bonded with the contact is what we're trying to say. Bob is one of our Sidetrack Sunday guys from Pittsburgh. And Bob, that is Deep Run Railroad. I think he's been on some of our Sidetrack Sundays. There we go. Just knock everything around here. So, there we go. I got to carefully hold on this tab. These wires have turned. So I've got, okay. Yep, and drop that again. See how this goes. Maybe I'll do some different ones, if I have some Bachmans or something else. Okay. Trying to solder two things in the midair. Boom. There we go. Successful. That worked. Too bad you could be DB Tech. Well, you don't have to be DB Tech, but whatever. What else am I doing? All right, we'll put this back on because we don't need to do anything in there, hopefully. Yeah. Did I do that right? I think so. That goes in there. And that snaps in there. I hear something fall on the floor as I'm doing this. And some parts of this camera are in focus and some are not. There we go. That's in there. Okay, good. Okay, so I got that wire soldered on. My motor should be dry. So I'm pretty sure I was the oldest guy on the dance floor. Can you dance, Bob? Flying as much. Short story. I flew to no, not 29 Palms. Camp Pendleton, California. Camp Pendleton, California. On a cargo plane. Took 8 hours. 8 hours on a cargo plane. Need my glasses to find my glasses. All right. Let's clean this up. So what we didn't do was clean these brushes. Let's see. I don't know if everybody is. Yeah, that's a brush. So let's see if we can clean that. Since we still got a smidgen of this fiberglass brush here. Clean that. because this is the part where I always lose them. This just takes a little bit of patience here. See, what's happening is the carbonates on the side of these brushes are getting all over my fingers. I think we're getting most of it off there. It's kind of like a constant. There we go. Almost lost that one. There we go. So we loosened it up, and then we use just a bit of alcohol, clean all the loose stuff off, drop that some more. Didn't have a middle seat. Well, not on a cargo plane. I don't remember when, well, I guess we flew out there on a cargo plane, and I was lucky enough to get a commercial flight back. Which is quite a luxury. Those things are, these brushes are a real torture here. C-130, yes, C-130. Flying on a C-130 with two giant generators in front of me tied down. So in other words, if that thing went down and all that equipment went with it, then we were going to have, and you were definitely going to be squished. All these little pieces of the fiberglass brush out of here. And there's a part here that fell out. It's like a little plastic tube that I dropped again. That was in the smoke unit here that I lost. The only way to get it in there is to take this all apart. We're not going to do that right now. So let's say we can put the motor back together. That's what we started doing here. So I think this is pretty dry. That's, yeah, that looks pretty good. Get all that out of there. There we go. Looking pretty good on that. So since we're at this point, I'll put the motor and the brushes back together, and then we can put the wheels and this part back in. Yes, well, yeah. Tell the same to Rose. Again, awesome pleasure to meet her, and had such a great time in Canada. Let me get a clean paper towel, and I have to be very careful about putting this in there because this is the part where we lose parts. Yes. Well, I guess you went to, is that weathering or dust and dirt? You know, we could just leave it on there and say that it's weathering. So I'm getting these springs out of here very carefully with the toothbrush. Because with my big hands, I always, every time I try and get a hold of a one of these springs, I lose it. So we'll get the alcohol out of the way. Get this in here. All right, I have to think about what I'm doing. So the red wire goes on top, and what we got to do is put the two springs in the holes and put the brushes on top. And this is the part where we lose stuff. So you can see the springs go in there pretty easily. There we go. Got it in there. So that was your son that you were visiting in LA. Did Rose enjoy her trip to LA? Okay, so we got the two springs in there. And then we're going to try not to lose these brushes. This is the part where I have to be very, very careful. Okay, one spring. Two spring. Come on, stay in there. If you let go of that, they'll take off. Okay. So, sorry, it's just a tiny bit blurry, but we got brushes and springs in there. So, here's where the magic happens. Piece of index card. Put that over there. Hold your springs in. Sorry, big hands in there. We'll wrap that over. And sorry, this is very hard to show you. There you go. So, there we go. So that held the springs in, and then we gently shimmy that out. Boom! Didn't lose a spring. Now, did we lose the screws? Nope. Didn't lose the screws. That's amazing. There's one screw. And then this here, let's see, is the other end, the other two wires that connect on here. Hang on there, Bob. I'll read that in just a minute. So we'll find that screw that I lost here. It goes in there. So that is attaching the grounded side of the motor. Here we go. So these two wires then connect to the trucks there. Rose loves the party, and there were two masquerades. She had multiple outfits and masks, and one included karaoke, which she also loves. Plus, great to see our boy. We took the train from Oxford to Mendocino points north. Surf liner, always fun. Sounds like a good vacation, Bob. Let's see. You got the motor back together. I'll put this back together. Thomas Grossi, what's happening? We're trying to take apart a Tyco here. See if we can break something. And I forget what I did here. I had a long screw. There, this screw here. If I remember correctly. Oh, no, that screw came up from the bottom like that. We couldn't get that off of here. That's what the problem was. So, yeah, that's... So, yeah, the little tab that we soldered on with the red wires goes back on this screw here. I might have to like hold on to that and run the screw in like that. Sorry you can't see that, but basically what's happening is I'm just running that little contact that we soldered on, running that down to the bottom of the screw so we don't lose it. Looks like fun, kind of. Yeah, it's fun. Everybody's having fun. Okay, and then this goes back in here, I think. Oh, break that. This is the part where I screw everything up because we got to put it back together. let's see if we did this right, if the screw will go back in here. I think it's all lined up correctly. Yeah. So these, so we gotta get those wheels in. Okay. So these axles right here, usually, well, not usually, sometimes they got a lot of junk on them in here, but they're looking pretty shiny as is. I'm going to throw out Q-tips. So we don't want to keep using dirty Q-tips. Well, let me take a look here. Yeah, we got to get that water out of there. So I guess, Bob, for Sidetrack Sunday, we'll go ahead with your plan. I like that idea. This week. Since Thomas Crossey's here, maybe we should get him involved with that also. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, that's right. You said Barb had some surgery or something. Dental appointment or something. Give me just a second here. Okay, we're an hour into it. Well, that's about normal. All right, so we got this cleaned up. That should be good. I'm going to put the cover back on it. Get my little oil can here. And again, everybody has their favorite thing. You know, you can buy your, what do you call that special oil? I forget what you call that stuff. Cabell, no, not Cabell. It's, you know, Labelle at, you know, $10 an ounce. I get air tool oil, the oil that you put in your air tools, like nail guns and grinders and so forth. It's 10-weight oil, no additives. And it's like $8 for a quart. So if you want to buy your Labelles, go ahead. Awesome Bayou, welcome. This is a Tyco Chattanooga. It's a tender drive engine. In other words, the motor's in the tender. I paid $1 for this. So we're just going to see if we can get it to work, and we're kind of just showing how it comes apart and how to fix it and so forth. Let's see. So that's what we're doing there, Possum Bayou. Thank you very much for joining. And I see there's just a tiny little bit of dirt still in around this gear here. Sorry, you can't see that so well. I should have like a third camera that's like a close-up of all this. So I'll do a close-up, but okay. So on that pivot gear there, we went just a touch. That's plenty. And just a drop on that side right there. Hit like, yeah, thank you so much there. She had eye surgery. Okay, you did say that. Couldn't remember. So what I do when testing DC engines, I just have one of these guys here. Use 2 wires. So I plug this in. I got 12 volts. And we might as well test this as we go instead of putting the whole thing together and then deciding that there's a problem. So what we could do this test right here and right here. So can't get that contact on there just right. Okay, I don't know if we can hear that, but that thing is buzzing along just fine. So we know that we have a good motor. So before we go and put more back together, we know that we have a good motor. Okay. So as far as these gears and so forth, I don't know. I still haven't decided what's better, if grease or oil. I guess it don't matter that much. Let's see. So what we'll do is put just a drop on that pin and a drop on that pin and a drop on that pin. We'll put these guys here like that. Yeah, I didn't think you could hear it. The motor was running. I guess not. Okay, so I didn't want to go too fast on there. And so then this gear here, and out of focus. I don't know, Bob. You go with what you like. I mean, put too much oil in there, it gets all over the place. Put too much grease in there, it gets all over the place and slows things down. Sometimes grease picks up dirt. And you know, how much lubrication do you really need on something that tiny? I don't know. Yeah, what I'm doing there, Possum Bayou, is, like I said, I'm repairing it and also just kind of showing how these things come apart. And maybe we'll show how it goes back together. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if it runs. So these are the wheel sets with the gears on them. Again, there's, oh boy, we've got a little bit of tinsel on there. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, got a little bit of Christmas tinsel on here. Roscoe, thank you very much there, Martin. See, Martin heard it. He's paying attention. Thank you. Sorry, keep it in the camera view here. And I got one more of those wheels. Sure, we'll throw the other one on the floor. I'm sorry, I got to keep that in there. Keep that in the camera. Again, sorry, still working on a little bit of a cold there. How do I forget which part I got to put together? So we got to put a little oil in here. That's what's fun about these particular Tycos, is like there's all these little parts and it's hard to figure out which one goes in and which order. Of course, I'm not doing that too good, am I? Why is that not going in there the way it's supposed to? Did something happen here? Oh, sure enough, that one came off. Oh, okay, here's our problem. Let me clean it off. So one of the common problems I started talking about was these wheels here have cracks in them. And sure enough, there's a crack all the way across here. And so this just kind of doesn't stay where you put it. And that's a common problem with. So what I can do, I mean, I have other ones. I mean, I have other these motors, and I'll probably have a set of these wheels. We'll get this together, and if we get it together and the thing runs, we can put traction tires on there, and that'll kind of hold it together for now. And the thing is, you can't buy these wheels. They're kind of special, and so that's why I buy these tender drives all the time, because I usually end up getting like just a few good parts out of them, like, so in other words, I scavenge them for what I can. Yeah, that one's got a crack all the way across the top of it also. And that's a common problem with these. And this one here has a crack on the gear side. So we'll put it together, and if we can at least get the motor to run, then maybe we can see about the rest of it, or see what other parts I have, or use this one for parts. I don't know. Clean this up just a smidge. Put my oil over there. Still some dirt on here. All right. So there is a particular way that this goes. Here, let me clean a little bit more dirt off of this. I got to remember to keep that in the camera. Okay. So how you can tell, the bottom part here is further to that side than this side. And so when you put it on there, then you could tell which way that it goes, because the side with the gears on it is over there. Yeah, a little bit. That's from the 70s or something. This one, well, the newest that it could possibly be is 1992. So it is at least that old. So what did I do? So this goes, yeah, the trick to this is you got to get these parts in here before you screw it down. That's the trick. All right, take the wheels out and we'll try this again here. And that's why these are so fun to work on, because there's a specific way to take them apart. Let's see, this goes over here. Nope. That goes over there. Then, like that, no. Let's see. That goes there. This has to go in here. Like that. There you go. There you go. So that's the fun of this. This has inspired me to break out my River Rossi locos from the early 80s and get them running. Well, there you go. I'm glad I inspired you, Deep Run. That was the purpose of this. Partially the purpose. Or one of the purposes, to encourage folks to get in there and fix their locomotive. Because we were talking about these specific types, and there was like 4 guys that mentioned, oh yeah, I have one of those that doesn't run. I don't know how to fix it. And so that's what encouraged me to go ahead and do this video. So if anyone watches this later or watches it now, and then they can watch the video and figure out how to fix theirs. So let's see. I'm trying to do this so you can see it. So we got this one. We got this side in here. Needs a better lighting in here. So then this is the one that comes apart. So then we can sneak that in there in pieces. Like that guy goes on there. And then you put the wheel covers and coupler on here like that. And I guess I got to put the wheel set in there. Actually, the thing is, did we do this correctly? Yes, we did. I'll be darned. I put that together correctly. And what I mean by that is the conducting wheels are on that side, not that side. Let me hold on there. Let me get a light. Should have had this light here before. Make this a little bit easier on you. How's that? That any better? Little bit, maybe. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this is the wheel that conducts. This is the wheel that doesn't conduct. That's on this side. So this side conducts, and this side opposite, whatever. Okay, you get the idea. I need a set of wheels that go in there, and we've still got hairs all over the place here. We don't want them back in there. Let's get rid of the tinsel and dirty Q-tips. Set of wheels. Probably rolled onto the floor. Here they are. Good, good. I should have oiled this first. Well, that's right, because we don't have that in there yet. And with my wheel set, again, making sure that we get those on the correct side. Put a screw in there. Sorry, I hope you guys can see all of this as I'm doing it, because again, that's the purpose of doing this, so you can see what's going on. And we needed to put, oh, I know what we're missing. Okay. So there's two little clips that go in here. You need to put those in without losing them, and then wire down the contacts on here. Okay, yeah, Thomas, we were talking about that earlier, about cleaning the wheels and how, you use the scratch brush and a little fiberglass gets around, or you can use a track bright. That's another thing that you can use to clean the wheels. Or the one guy that uses the Dremel with the little sanding wheels on them. You can use that, or you got a brass wheel that goes on there, so that will work. So either one of those. A hot toddy, is that a drink? Is that what you're referring to? All right, so we'll try and get these little E-clips in here. Sure. Might be able to see it, I don't know. So we'll clip those back in like that. There we go. We didn't lose that one. So Thomas Grossi, Bob and I were considering doing a group thing for a tag team or whatever, a joint sidetrack Sunday this week on 3D printing. And I said, if I get this video done on this train, then that frees up sidetrack Sunday. And the one guy that I know that's big on sidetrack or on 3D printing is Thomas Grossi. So maybe we can add him in also. And I realized what I did. Finally warming up there. I don't know if that's going to cause a problem or not. Where these wires connect here. I hope that doesn't touch the wheel. If it does, then we'll have to move that in there. 27 in Edinburgh. Anybody else order the Rapido mystery box? No, I have never ordered that stuff. And I mean, I guess I could kind of appreciate the fun of it, but at the same time, why don't they just give me something? I don't know. It's like, how much is a Rapido mystery box? Let me ask you that. I think it's $30. Is that right? $45. Okay. Well, I guess they tell you, everybody says you get at least $45 worth of stuff. So I guess there is some fun in it. You ordered a Menards mystery box and it was well worth it. Okay. That's fine. So what did you get in your mystery box? Or you're not sure yet? It's still a mystery? Okay, so what I did is I screwed down the two terminals here, the grounds here and here. Okay, I think we have this together. So in other words, we can put this back in there and see if it runs. If it does, then we'll go see if we can scare up some traction tires. 2 rail cars and 2 autos. Okay. Put this here. Put this here. And then these snap in. So I lost a screwdriver. Hold on. There it is. My blue screwdriver, my flat screwdriver. Should be here Friday or Saturday. Okay. So those of you that were here at the beginning, there's a tab here, a tab here, a tab there, and a tab there, and it just kind of snap into the shelf. Actually, it snapped in there easier than easy. Okay, good. Uh-oh. Something didn't get put back together. And what that is the drawbar right there. The pull pin is by the oil can. That is that's supposed to be the oil or the smoke filler pin. It's a bell that goes on the top. You stick that out to put the smoke fluid in it. I have to take out this screw and sneak the drawbar in there. And there's an extra screw over here. There's a screw, and I think that goes here, I hope. Price was well worth it. Okay. All right, let's see if we can take this apart without breaking something or undoing something that we did. Again, these locos are yeah, there we go. Hang on there, guys. There we go. I think that's in there. Screw this together. Sorry, my big hands are in the way. Okay. I get that in there. And then this in here. There's a screw there. Hopefully we're not screwing up any plastic threads there. What I did notice on here, if you can see that, right in here it says 37.4, which I think is like a manufacturer date. No, I'm sure this can't possibly be 1937. It's not the 37th month. 37th day of the 4th year? No. I forget what that's for. 37.4. Somebody tell me. So we'll go back to our power here. Any guesses here? What do you think? Sure. Oh no. There we go. Come on. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is I hear the motor run, but the wheels aren't turning. Oh, light works too. Okay. So the motor works, but the wheels aren't doing anything. And it sounds like that the pivot gear is just slipping on the, it's just slipping. It's not doing anything. we got to go back in here. Here. Well, okay, so we have the motor. We can see where it's slipping. In other words, we see if it's this gear slipping on the motor shaft, or if this is turning and something else isn't happening here, which I can see might be the problem. Yeah, that's barely getting a grip on there. Is that one doing it? That one will do it. Yeah, okay. So I'm sorry if my head was in the way. So we have these wheels that have the gears on them, and it's got a split in it. So because it has a split, the gear is just kind of flopping around. In other words, the large gear is not engaging with the small gears on the wheels, is what the problem is. They're both tracked. I can try and put a traction tire on there and see if that helps us at all. Any train shows coming up locally soon? No, Thomas. I don't know if there's any. The next one that I might go to is Amherst. I think talking about that. I don't think there's any. There might be some around here, but yeah, I missed a couple of train shows because I was kind of doing other things, and I thought, well, I bought enough stuff. I think I have what I need is in that bag. Let's see here. I think we are looking for 13 millimeters or 9 millimeters. 9 millimeters. Yeah, there was trying to print a new wheel. You know what, Bob? I would love to be able those little the wheel's easy enough to print, but they got those gears on them, and that's not going to happen. Let me see if I could sneak a traction tire in here without taking this all the way apart. We should have enough space to do that. Hang on there. Let me see if I can get that traction tire in there. Not, I'm going to have to take this apart. There it is. Try and get that in there. There we go. Hold it with that. Nope. That ain't gonna work. There we go. Sorry. Try this for just another minute or two, and then we're gonna have to take this apart to get that traction tire in there. Nope, there's no way I can see to get that in. Okay. Taking her back apart. He came back with a member of Try Sidetrack Sunday. I forget, Bob. Did somebody come back with you? The side that unscrews here. We're taking this back apart here. Wait a minute, you weren't. Still trying to get traction tires on here. I'm going to try and sneak that in. But that's not going to happen. That was Roscoe. All right. Oh, man. That's the fun part of these. Okay. So here's our tire. Now they're easy to get back on. Just like that. Get your traction tire on there. Can the gear be removed and glued back together with CA or something? Yes and no, Bob. It's been tried. And sometimes it works. I have not been successful with it. Some people have. And I guess the side that has the gears on it, if you were going to put glue on it, you got to be very careful you don't get glue in the gear, because the side with the gear on it, yeah. So you got to be very careful if you're going to use CA glue on the wheels there. And I forgot this actually takes 4 traction tires, so we need to get a couple more here. That's the 11 millimeter. I want the 9 millimeter. Yeah, and again, that's what I'm saying. These tender drives, like, I don't know, 2 out of 3 of them are unrepairable. All right, here's the wheel set. Traction tires on here. Show you the other thing here. Huh, that one broke. This is a like a punch. It's meant as a scribe. It's a metal thing. And it works handy as like a metal toothpick. So why don't they just make metal toothpicks, huh? I guess if you have metal teeth. All right, there we go. I tried running train on my floor. Cats had other ideas. Yeah, Martin. you're kind of taking a chance there. All right, we're trying to get these wheels back in the same way we had them before. Oh my goodness. Should have picked easier engine to do a demo on. But that's why we're doing this. Okay. That needs to go like that. I need to sneak. Sorry, guys. It takes, it's like this whole thing. You got to kind of put the pieces in there. And then the whole thing just kind of goes together in one piece. Throw these things around here. What's that? That's not even the right wheel set. Okay. So we're getting back to where we were 10 minutes ago. YouTube has added channel recognition to chat and mobile. Okay. Yeah, I heard about that channel recognition. So, Bob, we're going to do Sidetrack Sunday. We're going to do 3D printing, right? Is that our plan? Okay. So we got that back in there. We got to put these little clips back in there. Like that. Like that. Here's the other little clip. There we go. And we got to get these wires screwed back in here. And then we'll see if it gets if the gears engage or not. And if it doesn't, then we have to find some other wheels or something. And I lost a screw. There we go. Here's the screw I'm missing. Filament types. Okay. Well, I'm kind of limited, but I know a little bit. We can always talk about that. Okay. Let's see if that did anything for us, putting the traction tires on it. Nope, still the same problem. Let's turn this over here if we can see. Oh, you know what? This. So what's happening is this pivot gear here, the center gear, is up. It's lifted up, and it's not even engaging that main gear like that. Well, that's crazy. How did that? Let me see. All right, let me try it. Or maybe I just didn't have that gear set in there to begin with the right way. There we go. All right, we're getting some action out of that. Now, the problem is that with the cracks in that gear, it's running rough. So the thing is, I got to make sure, well, if that comes out again, if we have a problem with it again, then it's because of that the center gear, the pivot gear, is got too much space in it. And I'm still, as I'm doing this, I'm still like pulling hairs out of this thing. Unbelievable. And this goes this the other way. We'll snap this in here. See if we can break something. Unless it goes the other way. Yeah, Reptic. Nope. All right, let's see if we get the wheels to move here. Okay. It's kind of moving. The problem is that it's upside down and the contact, and this is the kind of thing that if you put it on the track and get it running, eventually, you know, the axles and stuff will mate with the rest of it. All right, what time is it? It's almost. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me just a minute here. We take it up and put it on the track. I'll connect my cell phone. And since we're doing this, we'll see if we get it to run. I think it'll move a little bit. Well, it depends. We'll see. All right. Let's see if I can connect my cell phone here as another video source. And then I can take my cell phone up to the train room. At least I didn't waste it. Well, you know, like I said, still, gave us some good video. StreamYard.com/X2D B7. Trying to read the URL off of the computer. Sorry about that. Sticking my big face in here. Seven, go. DB always do a great video. Oh, thank you so much. Even River got $1 worth of entertainment. Yeah. Display name, cell phone, mute, enter studio. You're backstage. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, there's my cell phone. Okay. Oh, I still got to cut the volume on here. Why is it still here? All right, let me take this upstairs. We'll put it on the track. I got glasses up there. All right. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Let me mute this one. Unmute. Turn it sideways like that. Oh, I guess that'll work. Hold on while I get this in the phone holder. Throw the phone on the floor. Oh, I see. That'll hold the phone, but I can't tilt it. That's all right. Huh. All right. I'm gonna turn that camera sideways. Sorry, guys. No, no, no. I want this to go away. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hold the camera here. See if we get anything out of it. Oh, I know what I did. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's why I can't see that. Okay. 1 minute. This should be working. All right. cell phone yet? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see it working. 1, 2. I don't know. I'll give it a quick test here. Okay, turn that microphone off. Still got. I need to just close this. Okay, I should have. You can hear that bottle tumble down the step. Yeah, this house is. Yeah, there's always something to trip her. There was a. Yeah, you saw it was laundry detergent sitting there at the top of the steps that had to go down to the steps, and it made it successfully down the steps. I should have thought this ahead of time. And usually what I do is I put another laptop upstairs and then I put a camera up there. Every time I do the cell phone thing, it's a problem. But you saw it run, right? Anybody see it run? Or are you just going to tell me no, it didn't run? You see it running. Okay, Roscoe. I think I heard something. Are you talking? Okay. For a second, I thought I was watching a horror movie. Yeah, just trying. Okay. I'm going to show you one thing real quick, and then we'll call it share screen. Allow. Okay. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but we were talking about the, yeah, thank you. And that's going to help my sore throat. That's what I was talking about. So that particular Tyco engine, they had, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, basically 11 models of that particular Tyco. And as you can see, the Chattanooga that's listed 3 times because it was made 3 different times, different versions of it. And I have the royal blue. I have the royal blue, of course, like 3 or 4 of the Chattanoogas, and I have the Clementine. And then I have listed here like the Great Northern, the Gulf Mobile, the Canadian Pacific. Those are pretty rare. So I'm always on the lookout for them. And like I said, I always, when I find them, especially for $1, I buy them. So ladies and gentlemen, I guess just gentlemen here. It's been fun. I should have thought ahead of time and put the laptop upstairs with the camera. As soon as I can get my mouse back here, we move that and go back to. So yeah, I should have put the laptop up there, but it does in fact run. And like I said, the typical problem with those is the either those the wheels, the gears on and the wheels there crack, and sometimes also that main gear breaks off, the pin breaks off. And then a lot of times I find some of those where the extra wheels that go on there, the metal parts, those things crack, and like the whole chassis just kind of comes apart. So I'm going to finish it up there because, well, it does run, not great. When it went around the corner, so the problem is, as you can see, it's a longer engine, and as it goes around the corner, then it's losing traction and hit the corners, and then that was it. So I wonder if I got, let me just try. I have a box here, Tyco parts. I'm just curious what I got in here. I'm not going to get too crazy on that. I'm just curious of what I have here. There's another one of those motors. It's the chassis. But yeah, okay, so this is one that's got a broken pin right there that I put a nail in, and that kind of works. All right, Martin, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't spend more than $5 on them. As you know, like I said, that one was $1. I was just curious if I had any wheels in here, if there's any chance that I could go back, because on those particular ones, I buy them, and if, for instance, well, like the one I just showed you where the pin was broken, but if it had good wheels, then I would save it. But I don't know. Don't see any in there. All right. Yeah, we had some fun. Hopefully, even if somebody watches the replay, they can learn something from it. And yeah, Bob, if you do see them, like I said, don't pay too much for them. You know, a couple dollars. But yeah, that's. I guess if they were in good working shape, they would probably go on eBay for about $25 or something, or if it was a rare one, maybe more. If it was just kind of working, you know, might be worth 10 or 15. But I don't pay more than like $5, maybe $10 for one, depending on the shape of it. But, yeah, like I said, when I see those tender drives, I buy them. So, okay. Thanks all so much for joining. Maybe I'll come up with another one to work on, and we'll try it another time here. All right, guys. Thanks again, and we'll see you on Sunday, Sidetrack Sunday, my channel, and I'm going to have Bob join me. All right, peace.